Paint a picture in your mind of an art class with no brushes, a music class with no instruments, or a drama class with no scripts. Even bleaker, no art, music, or drama classes in schools at all. That is the picture we are painting for millions of students in America right now. It is no secret that schools are underfunded in many states in America, but out of all that is hit hardest is arguably the arts programs within them. But the question has to be asked, why does this matter? Why should the government invest in funding arts programs of all things? In 2001, Congress passed the No Child Left Behind Act, a bill aiming to improve students' academic achievement. To gauge this achievement, standardized tests would be issued to schools. But there was a lot of criticism.
And I've met with teachers and with parents, with administrators, with business leaders. And they all had concerns with the No Child Left Behind.
Congress then passed the Common Core Standards Act in 2010, reinforcing the use of standardized testing for core subjects, the arts not being one of them. 20 years later, these tests still pressure schools to fund math and English more and steer budget cuts to the arts departments. Despite what the tests may say, the arts provide more for students than what is on the surface. Teaching the arts encourages independence and free thinking, which can help students later on down the road.
Artists aren't just there to become professional artists. They're going to become businessmen, they're going to become lawyers, they're going to be important members of the economy no matter what they end up doing. And what you're funding now is going to help make that happen, make this country competitive, and I think it's critical.
Art is very therapeutic to a lot of my friends, and for me, creating art is not so much of a relaxing experience, something that I can use to calm my nerves, but for me, art is something that I use to express my happiness.
In 2022 data by the National Center for Education Statistics, 96% of public schools reported providing mental health services for their students, while also reporting that 88% of public schools say they do not strongly agree that they could effectively provide mental health services to all students in need.
Schools are the most common place for children to access mental health services, but most schools do not meet recommended ratios for school psychologists, social workers, or counselors. Instead, even before the pandemic, we saw pediatricians, teachers, school leaders, and more stepping in to try to provide mental health services, despite many of them not feeling fully equipped to do so.
As a great number of students in the country face mental health concerns and personal struggles, the arts are often used by many as a means of escape.
Give students a chance to kind of unplug and connect to something different, maybe express something about themselves emotionally or something that they've been struggling with. If maybe they don't want to talk to somebody, many people feel comfortable getting some of their mental health issues out in their art as opposed to talking.
Although it seems like a very niche use of a school's funding, art programs definitely help a school's reputation because many talented artists can come out of that school and design for companies or even schools themselves. And also, all schools have artists, and artists can feel left out if there's no programs to support them during the school experience.
My schooling experience would have been a lot different without all the art classes I took. I would not have had as much fun or felt like I had a place that I belonged.
And there are those who argue money-loaded grants from the government would interfere with the free market. Subsidies do have a plus side, and that is to encourage competition in programs to try harder. With a low budget comes creativity in a new way.
I think it depends on the school. Some schools are not set up to be conducive towards artists, but I think depending upon the school that you go to, that there's a lot of opportunities and resources for people who are artistically minded.
But greater funding for these programs would give greater opportunity to those who otherwise wouldn't be introduced to the arts. Arts in education has always been overlooked when it deserves to be a priority.
My fear is that arts programs and arts education programs all over the country will suffer. That's test scores, that's our culture, that's we're richer when we have students engage in these activities, when arts and music have a seat at the table. They foster activities that help us become better citizens. And I would hate to see that go away.
Whether in rural or urban areas, all Americans should be able to participate in the arts. That is, to experience artworks, to be expressive and make art, to teach and learn, to have creative outlets, and in other words, to lead artful lives, essential to our reaching our full potential as a nation.
The Pew Research Center's 2022 study had 58% of the public say improving education should be a top priority for the President and Congress to address this year in 2022. Let's answer that concern to paint a new picture, a better picture, in the minds of all, where everyone has access to arts programs in the public education system. I can almost picture it already.